Yeah, I'm whistling at you. We at Whistle FM are always looking for new volunteers. Ever thought of producing a show? Or hosting your own show? Or maybe just helping out around the office? We could use your help, and you could become part of your community radio station. Drop us a line at admin@whistleradio.com or come by the station. We are located in the basement of Stillville Fine Furniture. See you soon.
And we are back on Fresh Waves here at Whistle FM. I'm your host, Bren Masson, and we're speaking with Christine Stewart. She's the program manager. She'll tell you what the name of the organization is because it's like 45 words long. And, but we're talking about social justice, and we're choosing on purpose to call it social justice as opposed to social injustice. Mm-hmm. So we're focusing on the positive. People have lived some miserable circumstances in life, and it's just a part of who they are, and it's a part of their life story. But I think the way that we're talking about it means that one day maybe less people will have to suffer in those ways. Mm-hmm. So it is actually a fight for social justice as opposed to a fight against injustice. So just before the break, we were talking about shoes.
Yes. My passion.
So what about shoes? Oh, mine too.
We do collection campaigns as a part of the social justice days that we host. Mm-hmm. And I call it I Can Make a Difference campaign. So I prove to the kids that you don't need money to make a difference. So we're collecting shoes, and there is a ginormous shipping container that we take the shoes to, and it is shipped to third world countries. So all we ask the students to do is collect old running shoes and tie them together, tie the laces together, and bring them in for the day. And Canadian Feed the Children takes them, and when they go and they give out food in third world countries, they take the shoes along with them.
Nice.
And we also collect containers, food storage containers. So, like your sour cream containers or your margarine containers, we collect those as well, and we make sure that they're nice and clean. And they also go to Canadian Feed the Children. And I thought, why would they want that? And then I realized if you really pay close attention to the news and you see them giving out rice in these countries, people are collecting it in their hands. So we're diverting waste from our local landfill or recycling depot, I would hope. And these are going to third world countries where they're treasured because they now can hold the rice for the whole family.
Nice.
And so the founder was shocked when he went over the first time, and these people had nothing to keep their rice in. So now the kids are going through their recycling bins, and they're collecting them and bringing them to the school as well, and we'll get that down to the city for that as well.
Isn't that neat? Who would have thunk it?
We do all kinds of different collection campaigns. It's based on what the school wants. So This is a student-led initiative. So I sit down with a student leadership team, some of the staff members and the principal and the vice principal, and we have a great chat about your 30 human rights and your ability.
What are your 30 human rights?
Well, there's 30 of them.
You don't know them all?
I don't know them all.
Just give us an idea of what they are.
It's your right to play. It's your right to vote. It's your right to freedom of speech. There's actually a really great book I should have brought for you. And it lists every single one of your human rights. And so based on that, we talk a lot about what kind of speakers the students want, but we also look at the issues that are going on in the school, and we make sure that we have a speaker that can address that as well.
Cool.
So we have PC Nigel Cole coming to talk about guns and gangs, because kids in grades 6 to 8 are being groomed at our local malls by gang members to participate in the illegal trade of guns and gang activity and the mentality associated with gangs. We also have a speaker coming from Victim Services, York Region, and she's going to be talking about staying safe online. So a lot of kids are being groomed, not only online, but Upper Canada Mall is York Region's largest grooming center for youth prostitution and human trafficking.
Wow.
Grade 6 to 8, some lady at our school thought it would be a great idea to have a birthday party and drop all the kids off at the mall because they need to learn how to hang out there sooner or later. They are preyed upon quite easily.
Note to self, don't drop your kids at the mall and leave.
Yeah, Wonderland is another really great place to be trafficked. And a bus stop, you'll find people sitting on waiting for that individual to come off the bus that maybe not have someone at home, maybe not have any friends. And the next thing you know, they have this fancy new boyfriend and all these gifts, and next thing you know, they are being trafficked. So it can happen in our communities. It does happen in our communities. It's very prevalent in our community.
It's something that people want to turn a blind eye to. I remember one of the Stowell Toastmasters did a speech on prostitution in New York region. And the response to the speech was mind-boggling to me. The number of people in the room who didn't want to hear it.
Yeah.
It's not that they didn't believe it. It's not that they doubted what she was saying, or they just didn't want to hear it, plain and simple. They did not want to hear it. That can't be in our neighborhood. Didn't want to hear it. Didn't want to deal with it. It was shocking.
Yep. And that's the nature of social justice, is to have those difficult conversations. The parents are aware of the speakers that are coming in and what they'll be discussing, so that there's no surprise.
Sounds to me like some of the parents should actually be there.
And the parents are invited. Absolutely. We have parent council come out. We have community members come out. We have, political leaders come out sometimes. We also have school board trustees and stuff come out as well, who really want to be, have a say in the day and really experience it. Stowville's finest. We have Sunny coming in.
Oh, Sunny's coming. Yay!
Yes. Yes, I've actually known Joanne since high school, public school. And so we became friends many years ago. And so I've followed her journey online. And it's
and Sunny and Smiley have been on the show. So
They sure have. Yeah.
there we go.
you get to maul them.
Yes, Sunny is just the sweetest thing. He is so cute. Anyway.
So with the day itself, so we'll be at Oscar Peterson and welcoming guests at 8:30 Monday morning. And then we go into the gymnasium and we have a special guest coming in. His name's Glenn Murray, and he'll be talking about racism and bullying. And he does a musical performance. And it is my job to whip the kids into a frenzy and get them all excited.
Not literally, just figuratively speaking.
Yes. Get them all excited, get them yelling and screaming and, really excited about the day, half day. And then they go into their first workshop, which they have chosen with a parent at home, for 40 minutes. Then they break for 30 minutes for recess and snack and all that good stuff. And then they have their second workshop for another 40 minutes. And again, it's been vetted at home and pre-chosen. And then they come back to the gymnasium for closing ceremonies. And this time we have one of the sergeants from York Region Police talking about racism and what that word that you're flinging around at school means and what the impacts are on your life by acting in a racist way. Mm-hmm. And then the kids go off on their own. And at Mount Albert Public School, when we did it there, we found that the kids needed time to decompress. So they set time aside in the afternoon after lunch, and they just listen and they talk about their learnings, about their feelings, and it's a really positive experience.
Good.
And we have two amazing speakers who are new to the team, and we're very excited to welcome both of you.
Oh, well, looking forward to it. Yeah.
And then Jay, what are you talking about?
Going to be talking about the greatest gift that I've ever received, a kidney from my sister 18 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, you and I both, Jay, could speak quite honestly about bullying in high school and elementary school.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, it's one of those subjects where Jay, you had a lot of physical restrictions as a kid.
Definitely.
And
for sure.
You got picked on and made fun of. Mm-hmm. And I was the same. I was the ugly duckling in the school and the one that they actually voted me the ugliest baby picture of all. My baby pictures are actually cute, but
Jealous.
yeah, high school and elementary school can be a really
period.
a really hurtful place. Mm-hmm. My high school celebrated its 50th year reunion, and I had no desire to see anybody at my high school that I'd been to school with, except the people that I currently keep in touch with.
Right.
And the only reason I would have gone back. I was working, so I didn't go. But if I had gone back, it would have been to see the teachers that had supported me and meant something to me in my life. And I went to a 25th high school reunion only specifically to see he's a man now, but he was a boy then, who was the only one of the kind of cool kids that ever said hello to me. In the whole time. I went to school with these kids from grade 1 to grade 13. And one of them passed away, unfortunately, a few years ago. And someone phoned me and said, you're going to want to know that this person has passed away, and I know you'd want to go to the funeral. And I said, I never spoke to him, even once. Mm-hmm. In 12 years, he never once said hello to me, never once had a conversation with me in 12 years. You know,
it's amazing how many people come together who have had similar experiences.
Yeah.
I was
that's social
bullied.
Social injustice.
Right.
It's on a grassroots level. It has no huge politics attached to it. It has only hurt that carries with people. They say that people who are in their 50s can remember the first and last name of the people who bullied them in high school.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I can remember.
I just actually had a conversation while I was waiting to come on today with someone with actually Joanne George, about my experience being bullied. And she had no idea, and we went to high school together.
Wow.
So I hid it really, really well. And I had a guy who used to throw pennies at me and tell me I was ugly, and he'd bark at me and said, "Dog, bend down and pick up the pennies."
Wow.
And they used to make me bark. Yeah. And had another he told me to go home and commit suicide because no one needed to be faced with someone as ugly as me.
It's nice.
Yeah. And then someone took, this girl named Kristen took my sweater out of my locker, urinated on it, and put it back in. And I told no one. I told my mom and dad that my sweater was stolen. Because I was too embarrassed to tell anyone. And I had a guidance counselor tell me to get a job at the mall because I didn't have what it would take in the real world.
I had a teacher who locked me in my locker.
Yeah. Aren't they wonderful?
They thought it was funny. Mm-hmm. And they locked me in my locker. Do you know how small the lockers are? I was small, but still, good thing I wasn't too claustrophobic. But from 9 in the morning until noon.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's deplorable.
And I didn't want to knock from the inside because it would just feed his thinking it was funny. Mm-hmm. And then he made me tell him my locker combination because otherwise he wouldn't open the door. So now this guy who has locked me in the locker for 3 hours, and he's a teacher, now has my locker combination. So I had to go and get a new lock because I knew that the practical jokes that they played on people, I didn't want my locker sabotaged and my stuff destroyed. So I had to change my lock and everything. And that was a teacher. So it makes you really feel odd at a school or unsafe. Because if you can't even count on the people who are supposed to be there to support and make you feel safe, who can you count on?
Right.
Exactly.
And that's what we look at, having a voice with social justice. Right?
Yeah.
If you speak up and you speak out, either for someone or for yourself, you're going to make a difference.
You will.
Right?
Yep.
And again, I go back to, it doesn't cost any money to be kind.
No.
And if you look at the character traits that are celebrated in York Region through the Character Community Foundation of York Region, being kind. Be kind. Be a champion. Stand up for someone. Because you don't know the impact that it's having on that person's life. And that's what Jay and I had our conversation about our first meeting 18 years ago.
Right.
I didn't know that, we would find each other on Facebook many years later.
No.
And, and that's not usually something that happens as a social worker. But Jay and I had like this bond, and it was a really great time. And,
And I just wanted to thank you for helping me all those years ago. And I always thought,
and
I wonder what you're doing now. Maybe you're on Facebook. And I thought I'll look you up. And there
we had
you
a
go.
lot of friends.
And isn't it amazing?
We sure did, definitely.
And you remembered her name and everything.
I sure did, for sure.
Because I got married during that time.
That's right, exactly.
I had just got married, so he knew me as Johnson and he knew me as Stewart. So, and that's how I am on Facebook, Johnson Stewart. So,
right.
Yeah, it opens up a whole lot, social media.
It can be used for such great things. It can be used for such destructive things, but it can be used for such amazingly good things.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I like the best about social media is being able to connect with people that would otherwise, you spend your life thinking, I wonder how they are. I wonder what they're doing. So when you think about the people who have made an impact and you'd like to just say thank you or touch base or whatever, it's nice. When I found that young man, Dave Dean, I'll say his name because he was just such a nice guy. He never knew. He had no idea how impactful it was that in front of his oh so cool friends that he actually said hello to me. And it's such a simple gesture, but he was always kind. He was always nice. And I needed to tell him that 25 years later.
Yeah.
That he was a positive part of my day. In a day that had a lot of negatives, he was a positive part of my day. And it's worthwhile to tell someone thank you. And it's worthwhile to go to the good teachers that you had in your life. And if you can find them, even if it is through social media, and just say thank you. Mrs. Nowak from Thornley High School, if you ever listen to this show, you were the best English teacher ever and had such a great influence on my life. And I really appreciate everything I learned from her.
That's awesome.
Those are the things you
But have you noticed that people who are social justice warriors often come together and have similar stories? Like we have the war wounds. And we share our stories in the hopes of making people stronger.
Yeah.
And that's what social justice does. But let's hear about your workshop.
My workshop is going to be very interesting. It's not to give away the punchline if anyone's listening who's going to be at the workshop, but it's a workshop that's designed in a very physical way to demonstrate privilege. And it's an interesting thing because I think a lot of people grapple with the whole concept of privilege because it's not my fault that I am born a white female of a certain income bracket. It came from a lot of hard work, but the demographic of who I am is just who I was born with. It's what you do with that demographic that makes or breaks who you are. And there are different expectations on us that you don't realize. So, for example, if you have a room full of people and you've sat in theater style, and the first row, say there's 6 rows back, and your job is to roll up a piece of paper and throw it into a wastebasket that's at the front of the room. The expectations on the front row are super high to get that piece of rolled up paper into the basket. That's just a given. You expect that everyone in the front row is going to make that basket. And you expect that everybody in row 10 hasn't got a hope in heck of ever making that basket. So your expectations of them are a whole lot less. If someone gets the basket from back there, whoa, it's a standing ovation and no one can stop. I mean, it's just, wow, that was incredible. Total fluke, but that was incredible. But then how does it feel to be in the front row? In that privileged front row. And the people choose their seats without knowing what the exercise is. So in that privileged front row or two, what does it feel like to have those expectations put on you? And what does it feel like if you miss?
That's amazing.
It's a really interesting concept.
And it's that hands-on component, right?
Yes, it's a very visual and physical way of demonstrating a concept that is often lost even on an adult population.
Right.
Adults do this exercise and stand there in complete awe because they're not told of what is happening until the end after they've done the exercise twice, actually. And they really don't know what's going on. And then when you ask them to think about it, the light bulbs that go off on the faces of the people there, it's very, very interesting. It's a very interesting exercise.
And that's it. That's exactly what you said, that light bulb thing. That light bulb moment.
The aha moment.
Yeah, where the kids go, oh my word.
Yep.
and then they go home and they have those conversations.
Yes.
Or you hear them out on the playground having those conversations.
Yes.
You know, I signed my organ donor card because of Jay. Because Jay made it personal.
Yeah.
I did, yeah.
Right?
I remember that. Remember you showed me the picture of you going to the mailbox?
I went to the mailbox, I took a picture and I sent it to Jay.
Yeah.
And I encouraged people around me because of your story.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You don't know what your impact is. So when we leave a school, we don't know. Is this just a one day? Mount Albert Public School now does a social justice week.
Wow.
Where they engage the entire student body, not just the 6 to 8, and they bring in speakers, and they bring in activities, and they continue the conversation. They have a social justice club where they do things all year. They'll fundraise. They did a dance, and they gave all the proceeds to Jefferson Day, and to help bring his family over. Like, it's amazing, you know, what these kids come up with and what they want to do and how they want to, you know, make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
It's been fun.
So you're doing Oscar Peterson's school on Monday, the 11th.
Right.
And you'll be there for the half day?
Yes.
Okay. And then where do you go after that?
Home. No, just kidding. Home and I have a big drink. No, just kidding. I then start the preparations. So I'm doing it in unison. Mm-hmm. Maple Leaf Public School and Meadowbrook are coming together. So we're actually serving over 800 kids this year through the social justice program.
Wow.
So that's big numbers.
It is, yeah.
And that's a huge message to get into our community.
I think it's a great initiative, and I hope that the Board of Education takes it to all schools, even schools where they don't deem there to be a problem, quote unquote, because it's not really specific to schools, although schools and bullying are a big issue. Mm-hmm. I'm not downplaying that. No. But now with social media, the bullying can be
24/7.
And it is with larger geographical areas. Mm-hmm. You know, the kids band together and they're from schools that are out of the region even.
Right.
So it's got long-reaching arms, and your program, I think, like you said, the ripple effect from a program like this can be staggering.
Yeah, and just always remembering that no matter who you are, where you come from, and where you're going, you can make a difference. Mm-hmm. And that's what I say all the time, is if you live with character, you can change our world. And that's what their motto is at Character Community Foundation. And if we all had that motto of our life, you know, we'd see people doing. And we have so many silent helpers and so many amazing people doing amazing things. And we need to celebrate that each and every day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And empower people. And, you know, it's just been fantastic.
And what about Character Matters? That still goes on in the school too, doesn't it?
Yes, character definitely matters. And a lot of the schools will do assemblies and have different character traits and give individuals awards. So, you know, initiative and any of the different character traits, and they celebrate that. And we always like to see that on social media, what these kids are doing and what they've done in their school to make a difference and live with character, because it's so important. It's so, so important.
It really is. And then when we develop that in the schools, that spreads out into the community. When these young people go into the community and do all the things that they do in the community, even if it's a baseball game or a soccer league or something like that, those character traits and the social justice that they've learned carries on in those circumstances and situations. It's lovely to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we see it long term.
Yeah.
Right? We'll see the kids, like I was at the Mount Albert Sports Day this weekend, and one of the little boys came over and told me what he's continuing to do in the community and be involved and volunteer. And he just wanted to give me this report. And I was so thankful to see that now he's in high school and he's joined the Peace Club at Huron Heights, and he's continuing his work as a social justice warrior. And that's what I call them, my little warriors. Like the things that we've done over the years, like the collection campaigns have been very vastly different. Like we've collected, toys for the local shelter for animals. Cause I'm a huge dog fan, and Jay knows this from social media.
I sure do, yeah.
My really, really rotten little bulldog who jumped in our fish tank and ate our fish. Yeah, only me.
Nice.
Yes.
Well, mine eat the fish out of the ponds outside. So
okay, so I could bring
ponds,
Lola over if you need any,
Fish
Irrigation.
ending? Yes. Okay. I know. Mine are like that too.
But so we're able to take our own passions that the kids and the staff are passionate about and collect for them as well. So we made chemotherapy kits for the hospital.
Nice.
For the little kids. So we put in coloring books, like little activity bags, and then a little snack to boost them. Some juice to bring up their sugar levels. We've done night-night bags for the shelter as well. So when a child comes in, they get a gift.
Nice.
A little blankie, a bag, a book, and a teddy. It's just, the kids are leading this. I work for the kids, and I say that time after time after time. And it's not a matter of the schools allowing it to be in the schools, because we are partners with York Region Police, and we are partners with the Board of Education, both Catholic and public. Mm-hmm. It's finding the time and the funding.
Right.
We have very, 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 very little funding, and all of our wonderful speakers come in on their own time.
Right.
And
what's the name of the organization again, in case someone wants to donate or become a part of it?
Community Foundation of York Region.
Character Community Foundation of York Region. You guys have got to come up with some kind of an acronym.
Doing awesome stuff. How about that?
Okay. And Jay will put that on the website?
We sure will.
We'll put that on the website, and we'll put that on our Facebook page so
Definitely.
that people can get a hold of you if they'd like to contribute, or if they have a program that they'd like to implement.
Maybe you want it at your school, or you want a speaker at your church, or anything. We have minivan will travel. That's my philosophy.
Is there a phone number for the organization?
There is, and I don't know it off heart.
Okay, but they can just Google it. And
Absolutely.
ask Mr. and Mrs. Google, and they'll be happy to help you with, again, the name is?
The Character Community Foundation for York Region.
Character Community Foundation.
CCFYR.
Yes, that's us. Woo, Jay, you're swift.
See, I'm on the ball.
Yeah, but, it needs to have a vowel in there so we can call it something.
Well, right now,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
we find ourselves hilarious, don't we?
We do.
We do.
I mean, if we don't laugh, nobody else will. So we
That's
might as
true.
well laugh. And you know how people just laugh because someone's laughing and they don't really get it, but they laugh anyway just because everyone's laughing.
Yeah.
So we'll just start laughing on the show all the time. As a matter of fact, one of the commercials I heard this morning on my way into the station, I loved the line, "Did you actually come with your own laugh track?"
Oh, I know that commercial.
That's so funny. What a great line. I think I'm going to use that as my motto. Yes, I come with my own laugh track. Well, if you can't laugh at yourself, who can you laugh at?
I'm my own best friend. Sometimes I can't even get through a joke that I'm telling because I'm like thinking of the punchline, and wondering if it's okay to share with the kids. Usually it's not, but...
Well, we have a super volunteer in this community named Diane Ward who has done such amazing things for the community of Whitchurch-Stouffville, and she continues to do amazing things every day of her life. And when she was in here last time, I will quote her as saying, "Every single person is a volunteer. Mm-hmm. And the number one volunteer thing you can do is to smile at another person."
Absolutely.
Yep.
So there you
Very
go.
true.
In the word of social justice, thank you for coming in today, Christine.
thank
Nice
you.
to have you on board. And we'd hope to see you again sometime soon.
Well,
Be lovely
come
to
on
have
over
you
to
back.
social justice.
Yes, well, we'd like to hear the results of the program and hear what great things have spun out of it. And it's always fun having such great, positive people on the show.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I had a great time.
Great. Jay, thanks for all your work behind the board
My
there
pleasure.
today, and to Ivan Harris for all he does for Fresh and everything else here at Whistle FM. I hope everybody has a terrific day. I'm your host, Bren Masson. We'll be signing off for another episode of Fresh Waves on Whistle FM. Have a great day, everyone.
The Character Community Foundation of York Region is a registered charity that provides children, youth, and adult character development programs and initiatives that focus on positive character attributes and behaviors that lead to personal achievement and success while building inclusive and caring communities. Our character development programs positively impact over 16,280 children and youth yearly throughout York Region. To provide children, youth, and adults with the tools to make positive life decisions and live life to their full potential, we utilize the following character attributes in all of our programs and initiatives: compassion, courage, fairness, honesty, inclusiveness, initiative, integrity, optimism, perseverance, respect, and responsibility. We are committed to building and investing in our communities as places where families are strong, neighborhoods are safe, schools are bully-free, businesses are customer service-oriented, and people embrace our core values of collaboration, inclusiveness, integrity, and responsibility. By working together and emphasizing the need for a good character, we will ensure that York Region continues to be a healthy, prosperous community. For additional information or to donate to our organization, please contact us at 905-895-5155. That's 905-895-5155, extension 126. Or visit our Canada Helps page at canadahelps.org or our website, charactercommunity.com.
You've been listening to Fresh Waves, a Whistle FM production. I'm your host, Brenda Masson, and our technical producer is Jason Rumball. Tune in every Wednesday at 10 a.m. for Fresh Waves here on Whistle FM, 102.9 on the FM dial and whistlefm.com anywhere in the world. Fresh Waves is available on podcast too. Just go to whistlefm.ca or freshwaves.ca. We podcast all of the Fresh Waves shows so that you can listen at your leisure. Fresh Waves. It really is